Hey Roxstars, it's Rox. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, let's talk about the Republicans now trying to steal this election. Let's talk about YSAP and all his childish antics. Let's talk about Quawan Charles, and then let's follow it all up with the RonaCheckIn. All right, let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, it really is more the same of what was going on last week. We've got just a key amount of bigger names of Republicans who are trying to put the pressure on these secretaries of state to do something that they are not supposed to do. Okay, Lindsey Graham, for example, he tried to put the pressure on the Secretary of State to tell him to throw out some legal ballots. These are ballots that didn't have problems. They were from a certain area, and I'm assuming that he felt like those ballots. First of all, I don't even know why they're going through all of this, because Biden has won by so many electoral votes that what they're trying to get them to do is still not going to change the results of the election. But anyway, he wanted Georgia to throw out these legal ballots because I think in the grand scheme of things, it looks bad that Georgia, which has been historically a red state, has flipped. All right. This hasn't happened since back when Bill Clinton was was running for president. So now the Republicans just can't even imagine Georgia flipping like this, and that there must be some sort of reason for it, some sort of, something bad happening, and that they stole it. Georgia stole it that way. So he's put the pressure on the Secretary of State, and the Secretary of State is Republican. And he finally was like, look, he knows that the reason why YSAP lost the damn election is because YSAP did it to himself. He just came out and said it. He the one told everybody don't vote. He the one told everybody don't do it through the mail. He alienated his own base. He made them feel uncomfortable with the mail-in ballot system. He made them feel like their vote wasn't going to count when very clearly it does. Okay, so he's the reason why. He only has himself to blame. Okay, Brad was over it. All right, he said that even though Lindsey Graham will say that he wasn't trying to pressure him to throw out the legal votes, he said that's what it felt like to him. He was like, Lindsey can say different wording, but when you on the receiving of that, it sounds like you trying to tell me to throw out legal ballots. And he said he ain't doing it. Okay, so fuck you, Lindsey Graham. And of course, Lindsey was like, oh, I never would suggest something like that. I just basically told him that he needed to make sure that he looked at the ballot. Well, we already made sure. Okay, so they've already did a recount here in Georgia. And the certification had to happen last night. I'm assuming that it did. I didn't check this morning to see, but I'm assuming that it did. They're certifying the state, and then something tells me that there will be yet another recount. Okay, because of the margin, it's less than 0.5%, I believe. So they can ask for another recount. But yeah, you guys, and then you hear about this kind of trying to keep cities and states from certifying. The same happening out there in Detroit. Now, you guys know we ain't even got to try to get up no numbers for Detroit. We know Detroit is black, child. We know it. Motown. Them trying to not certify the votes in Detroit, which was a big part of the reason why Michigan got to where Michigan was, very clearly you guys are using racist tactics to try to steal this election, putting a pressure on them, going even as far as to say, telling states to send different people to the Electoral College to put in the vote. Instead of sending the Democrats that won the Democratic states, you would send Republicans. Now, this kind of talk happens more and more, like every election year, because I remember last election, there was talk of the same thing, like, because Hillary Clinton had won the popular vote, maybe we'll have the Electoral College, they'll send the Democrats there and she could possibly still win because, she was the popular vote and she just didn't have the Electoral College, and everybody was talking about how flawed the Electoral College was and all of this. And even though Electoral College is flawed and it has their issues and it's antiquated and it's dated and doesn't really pertain to today, the shit is still in place. It is still very much happening, and they are not going to get rid of it, much like they didn't do for Hillary. They ain't gonna do it for WhatsApp either. I don't know what kind of bedlam they would create if they actually sent the wrong people to put these votes in, and that WhatsApp ended up, it would be civil war. They're not gonna do that, okay? When you look at the news, you hear everybody saying this was the most smoothest run election. There's no fraud. There's nothing that is going to flip this election around. This is happening. WhatsApp lost. Okay, we're going to certify these damn states, and then everybody going to get their ass down to the electoral college, and they going to vote. And Biden is going to be the president, and Biden is going to be sworn in on Inauguration Day on January 20th, and everybody gonna go on about their business, okay? We don't know what the fuck WhatsApp is going to do. I'm sure he is going to continue to make things very difficult for everybody involved. We know that WhatsApp is not conceding. I don't expect him to. It doesn't really matter, okay? You can say the sky ain't blue, but if I look at the fucking sky and everybody knows the sky is blue, I ain't got to say it. That's what it is. WhatsApp can go on with whatever he trying to do. That's perfectly fine, but Biden is still going to be in that seat, in that place come January 20th. But that doesn't say that WhatsApp is not going to make things as difficult as he can. Because he's going to make things very horrible. I told you guys that he is going to be an extreme pain in the pussy. He is going to be that one, because when things are going great for him, he's that one. So you can imagine when things are going bad for him, how he would react. He's got his lawyers out there putting in all these lawsuits, every single one being thrown out. You don't hear that part. You always hear about the lawsuits, but you don't hear about how ain't none of them taken. Okay? There's been 30 cases or something like that all around the United States. Get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, no on this, no on that, tell them no, that's all right. All that going on. He's spinning his wheels, you guys. And it's just more and more like, you know about people who just really think about themselves and don't even think about their future. You don't care that in the history books, you will land on the wrong side of history. Like, people are going to see this and they're going to talk about it in class and how you acted. Not only WhatsApp, but these people who are supporting him, the people who are putting the pressure on. I was watching something the other day and the guy was saying, like, you are going to be the one in the history books that's going to be known as the one who tried to besmirchified democracy. You're the one who tried to keep the legal process from happening. Like, you are going to be that one, okay? And how do you think your grandkids are going to feel? They're going to have your name and they're going to know that Paw was out there trying to put the pressure on people not to get the black people vote in. There's a lot of backlash that those people are getting. I even know some Republicans that have been like, you know what, it is what it is. Like, they're going to have these recounts, and then what do they want to happen? Like, so not all the Republicans are feeling like the shit was stolen and all of that. Some people are willing to take their loss the same way we had to be willing to take the loss when Hillary Clinton lost last election. But you don't hear about those Republicans. You just hear about the ones that just are just gung-ho and trying to say that it was stolen, the ones that are up Trump's ass, whatever they can do to try to make this man happy, who is going out, you guys. Then that's what they do. He put the fear in them so tough that they can't even see themselves going against him, even as he is going out of office. And then as he leaves the office, we know that WhatsApp will never be away. He is going to be marketing himself. I'm sure there's going to be some books. I'm sure he will continue these rallies. I'm sure he will make money from these rallies now. Now you can charge. You can be a speaker, and people will pay money to go and see him talk. And for as little self-control over the things that he said while he was WhatsApp, can you imagine the shit that he gonna say when he not WhatsApp anymore? he doesn't have the office and the government weighing down on him. I mean, that motherfucker is going to be out of control. So they're going to always have to worry about him, you know, until they put him in jail. But up until then, you know, YSAP is going to be out there. He is not going away. He ain't going away. He ain't going away. And then we see him continue to take people out of key positions in his administration. There seems to be extreme focus on his defense team, getting rid of people, putting folks in that are considered loyalists, that are going to do whatever YSAP wants them to do in these next few days, and these next couple of months before inauguration. I think we've already got an idea. He told us that like on January 15th, he'll be removing half of the troops in Afghanistan. And both the Republicans and the Democrats think that is an extremely bad idea. You know, they want the troops to be home. Yes, for sure. But you are making that situation so unstable over there. You are leaving troops that will be unprotected, underprotected. You know, more people can get killed because of this, because now all of a sudden you're withdrawing the troops, and you're doing it in the middle of a transition. You ain't telling the other side anything. So Biden is trying to transition, and he doesn't have the funds. You know, the GSA, I think it's called the General Service Administration. I think that's the name of it. There is a woman there, Emily Murphy. She is in charge of those funds. She is the person that could just release those transition funds so that Biden and his team can try to start to come in. You know, they need to get the information, what is going on as far as coronavirus, as far as the you know, defense in our country. Just, he needs to know. Nobody wants to come into a position this large and just be blinded. But see, YSAP, that's exactly what he is trying to do. He eventually will come around, but it's going to be so late in the game that, you know, people are going to be scrambling because it's going to be time for inauguration and all of this. So, I mean, Biden is trying to put his team together, which, by the way, he said he wants it to look more like America. Is going to be diverse. You know, it's going to have more people of color. It's going to have more women. You know, he wants it to look like how America looks. Even when Obama was president, it was a larger percentage of men that worked in you know, under his administration. And then YSAP has a huge white man team as well. So Biden is trying to make the change. I mean, that Trump, he is just so, he's so fucked up as a human. And should let you know that he doesn't care about the United States. It's all for him. It's all for him. And he obviously doesn't care about his future as well in the history books. You know, they say behind the scenes, his people, his family, all of that are trying to tell him, you know, to do the right thing so that he won't have, you know, he won't be talked about in the history books. But I mean, he is definitely going to be talked about. It'll just be worse because of this, but he going to still be talked about bad because that child, let me just stop. All that to say is your boy is still being the petulant toddler that he can be. Actually, that he is. So no surprises there. All right, you guys. So there was much ado made about this fist bump that Lindsey Graham gave Kamala Harris yesterday, I guess, while they were at Congress. She was down there talking to some people, a group of other Congress people. And she saw Lindsey Graham walking towards her, and she stuck her arm out, like kind of like a fist. And he fist bumped her, and then he kind of pat her on the back and kept on going. Well, of course, they caught that on camera. And everyone is saying how, well, the Republicans are upset with Lindsey Graham as they're saying that that was him, you know, being supportive of her, and that they felt like he was being a traitor kind of to the Republicans by looked like it was a congratulatory type of fist bump and pat. He came out and said, no, all it was him just saying hello to her. I guess that he tried to say, like, that's how they've always addressed each other over the years. And so that was nothing more than him just saying hi to her. But I can tell you guys this. Now, y'all know I ain't no political pundit, okay? But I've learned a little bit about politics. If you guys have gone back and watched my channel over the years, like I used to be very uncomfortable talking about politics. I still am not super comfortable talking about it. But I mean, I will give my opinion. But what I will say about politics is that these people, like, politics is a show. The way that they act in the public is not the way that they act behind closed doors. Okay, you got to remember that these people have been senators and congresspeople together for years and years and years. They've been around each other. They've worked together. They've been friends. They know each other's families, all of that. All right, so behind closed doors, many of those people on both sides get along. But politics is something in the public eye that, you know, you got sides, like true sides, Democrats, Republicans, independents, you know, all of these other parties, right? And we watching because we want it to be a fight. So when they get in the public eye, then they spat, then they spar, you know, then they go against each other. They say things about each other and all of that. But it's really kind of just an act, you guys. Because at the end of the day, when they get behind these closed doors, they have to somehow work together. I won't say that they besties or anything like that, but I will say that the vitriol that we think that these two sides have for each other behind closed doors is not the same. I mean, it's all a part of the game. It's all a part of the competition. It's all a part of who wins. You know, all of that plays into politics. So, like I said, I almost feel like the Republicans is glad that WISAP is out, because if you remember back, none of them liked him when we all thought he had no chance of winning. Then when the nigga won, then everybody had to scuffle and scoot their ass right on over to his side. And all of a sudden, everybody loved him. But just a little while ago, you guys are saying he was a fake and a phony and a fraud. And, you know, he was trying to become the WISAP. And, you know, nobody was taking him seriously and all this. But now all of a sudden, you've got this lunatic that's running the country, running your party. So now you got to get on board. So that's what they did. So I really feel like they kind of feel like, you know, the Wicked Witch is dead, and they can kind of come out from all of this. You know, can you feel a brand new day? Like, we'll play the game and we'll act like we so upset until inauguration, and then when we get them on out, then, you know, we'll go on business as usual and be like, phew, finally got rid of that crazy motherfucker. But yeah, so the fist bump, I was just like, yeah, I mean, he probably glad, child. Who want to have to deal with WISAP's ass for 4 fucking more years? And then you guys know they say that he gonna try to run for president again in 4 more years. So in 2024, he gonna try to keep his base whipped up enough if he don't go to jail to run again in 2024. And then, you guys, I would like to know, for anybody out there who does know, if he does run for 2024, because it wasn't consecutive, does that mean that he can do another 4 years after that? And we will be subjected possibly to 8 years of WISAP? Child, please say it ain't so. But something tells me I think that that's what it could be, because it wasn't consecutive 4-year terms. You know, so, child, I don't know, but it's terrible to think, child, if WISAP could do, we won't even think out that far. Let's just get to January 2021 so we can move on with our lives. But all right, you guys, so let's switch up a little bit and talk about this case that was sent to me about Quawan Charles. I hope I'm saying his name correct. He is a 15-year-old boy who was found dead in Louisiana. I don't remember the parish. I will put it on the screen here. He was found dead in a sugar cane, and last had been seen around this white family. But when they found his body dead, they told the family that he had drowned. When the family went to go view the body and they saw his face was very mangled, they tried to, the police tried to say that that was from like aquatic animals in the water, you know, that may have attacked him. But he was found in a sugar cane. They're saying that if there was any type of water that had collected, it couldn't have been more than a couple of feet, 2 feet high, not even maybe that high. How is it that a boy would drown? Because they said that he had like swamp water or something in his, ingested into his lungs. They still feel like he's 15. So all you got to do is stand up. So even if you do say that that is the cause of death, then how is it that you come to drown in water that's ankle high, shin length high? Did you get held down in this water? All of this. The family is saying that it's bullshit and that they want the white family that took him. So I don't have the white family's name either. I'm sorry. But they say that Quawan was going to go play with his white friend, this young boy, I guess close to his age, and that the boy and the mother came and picked him up. Now, Quawan's family, the mother, the father, did not get permission for them to take him. They didn't know that he was going. I think they saw that on camera. But they picked him up and they took him. They reported to the police that he was missing, but there was no Amber Alert that was put out, and none of the agencies knew that he was even missing. And it wasn't until a few days later that his body was found. And then, the agencies was like, we didn't even know. Nobody had said anything that he was missing. The police in the area that he was actually found said that he didn't meet all of the parameters originally to put out an Amber Alert for him. I guess they could have said that he was a runaway, or that because he had recently moved to the city. He was new to the city, and I guess they were assuming that maybe he had ran off with some friends or something. Anyway, you guys know it's bullshit. They did not want to go and check and see where this boy would be. 3 days later or so, he turns up dead. His face is mangled. They're saying that he drowned. There's no water around, for them to even prove that. The family wants answers. And the case is starting to get more and more, people are starting to find out more and more about it. And they're trying to put the pressure on to find out exactly what happened to their boy. 15 years old, you guys, so very sad. The white family, I don't know if they've been questioned. From the article that I read, they said that they haven't been able to locate them. They lived in a trailer park, but evidently they've either run, or the trailer that they were staying in, they're saying that they were evicted from that trailer. So they can't get in touch with them. And nobody seems to be all that much in a hurry to try to get to these people, so that's why the family is trying to make sure that this story is out there, and they can get some answers, and that if the son was indeed killed, then they can get some justice. So that is the story with Quawan Charles. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. He's 15 years old and he is dead in Louisiana. We'll follow up on the story and see if there's more to it. And then, of course, I'll let you guys know more when I know more. Okay. And then lastly, you guys, the Rona check-in. Oh, it's bad. It is bad, and it's bad. Over 250,000 people have died since March of this year from coronavirus. I think we all can say that coronavirus is totally different and much more deadly than the flu. There are still people out there who will not take this virus seriously. I talked to you guys about, Jeremiah in Top of the Blogs and how he's not doing well. And we've heard that story over and over and over again of people who we didn't expect to get taken down like this. It's really real out there. And it's just growing at such an exponential pace. They can't control it. The only hope, I guess, now is they're trying to get this vaccine pushed through. And I told you guys last week that Pfizer came out and said that they had a 90% efficacy rate. I guess that is the word, that it was 90% successful. Moderna came out and said they had a higher rate. Then Pfizer came back and said they had a higher rate, 95%, and that this is successful. There was some discrepancy this morning when I was watching the news. They were talking about whether the 95% or whatever the efficacy rate is, they were trying to say, is that mean that it's 95% that they won't get sick? Or is it 95% that they will get sick, but they won't have any reaction? That part hasn't been clear. But the 95% is like the magic number that they needed so that they can ask for emergency approval from the FDA, and that they will get somewhere around 20 million vaccinations to the people in the United States by the end of December. Now, these are just people who extremely, are in those cases. I'm sure medical staff and people who have to work in the service type of staff, as far as people's health and things, will get the vaccinations first, military, of course, and then, they'll nursing homes and things like that, I'm sure. But they're trying to get it out. 20 million is not that much. But they're saying that they'll have way more, enough for most people in the country who want it by April, May of next year. Okay, so they're working on it hard. They're trying to get it out. More and more people are saying that they will take the vaccination. I think they said at one point it was 50%, and now it's up to 60% of the people say yes, they will take the vaccination. I've asked you guys many times, and a few of you guys have come around. I still have no plans of taking the coronavirus vaccination. I think it's the reason why some people have come around is people are just tired. And it was just like, okay, you want us to take it? Let me see who all did this study. Can I put some faces and some names? Do I see some black people in there? What y'all thought about it, kind of thing. I don't know if that's supposed to stay anonymous or what, but like, who did these studies first? Like, who was part of the subjects? And then maybe people can make a more informed decision then. But I think people are just so tired of the Rona that they're going to be so worn down from it that they'll just be like, fine, give me the fucking vaccine so we can go. And then we don't even know how often you would have to take the vaccine. The flu shot is only good for the flu season. So, people get flu shots every year. And it may turn out that the Rona shot will be every year as well. We still don't know how long the immunity lasts. If people have, antibodies in their system after they have it. Some people don't have antibodies afterwards. We don't know how long, we just don't really know. But that vaccination is looking better and better to some people. And as we get closer to the holidays, and they know that it's inevitable that families will be getting together. Now they're just trying to put out, suggestions of how to make sure that you can keep your families safe as everybody starts to gather. It's going to be a tough ass winter. It's going to be cold. Everybody going to be inside, and, to be sick on top of it is never going to be anybody's wish. But they say that it's inevitable. They're actually saying that 400,000 could be dead by, I think they said the end of January or something like that, you guys. So, it's a frightening thought. But, and I remember when coronavirus first started and I was reading up on smallpox and that big pandemic that happened back in the 20s or 30s or whenever it was, the teens or 20s in the 1900s. And I think they said something like, the number was so astronomical. And I was just like, golly, that many people can't die from this pandemic, coronavirus. But we looking like we pushing up on them kind of numbers, you guys, if things keep going on the way that, it has been. Until they can get it under control. Smallpox, they finally was able to eradicate it and it's gone. But it's going to be a long time before that happens with Rona. So we'll see, you guys. But yeah, I'm going to just keep on saying. I'm going to keep on saying it. Mask, wash your hands, social distance. Mask, wash your hands, social distance. Masks, wash your hands, social distance. You can just get those 3 things done. I think that you can make it through the season and not get infected. You guys, just be careful. That's all. All right, you guys, let me get off of here. Maury is on. It's 1:06. Let me get on, you guys. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's Rox. The channel's for It's Rox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, Roxstars. Goodbye.